Okay, today's homemade fish fingers because we're looking at high protein meals and fish is an excellent source of protein, but there's no reason why you should go and buy your fish fingers and then frozen versions and cook them. We're going to make them from scratch, homemade versions. So for this, we're going to use cod fillets as our main part of our fish for our fish fingers. We've got everything to breadcrumb them, so we've got beaten egg, we've got some breadcrumbs, and we've got some flour, and we're also going to make our own sauce to go on them as well. So we have got some Greek yogurt, lemon, and we've also got some gherkins and some fresh parsley, which we're going to make our sauce out of. So homemade fish fingers, we're going to start with the fish fingers first. So we're going to take our cod fillets and we are going to just cut them into something a little bit smaller, into more kind of fish finger shaped, but still quite bulky ones. So just basically slicing them in half. Now, if you're going for the top level marks, then what you want to be doing is buying your fish unprepared so that you can then skin and bone them yourself. That's going to get you much higher marks. Next thing we want to do is we want to start getting our pan ready, because as soon as we've got them breadcrumbed, they're going to go straight into the pan. So frying pan onto a medium heat. Good spray of low fat oil that we're going to be frying them in. And then get your bowls organised, ready to start frying. The fish is quite moist anyway, so what it's going to do is going to go into the flour. We're going to get a good roll in there. The moisture is going to make the flour stick to it. Get a full covering. That's then going to help the egg stick to the fish finger. Get that fully covered, make sure we've got egg on everything. And then into the breadcrumb. Make sure you get a full covering of breadcrumb all around it. And that's it. That is your homemade fish finger made and into the pan. That's going to fry 2 minutes on each side. And just repeat the process. Now, to add flavour, rather than just doing the basic fish finger, you could add some extra spices to the flour. So adding something like paprika is going to give you a nice spiced fish finger, more like a Thai fish finger. Or you could add some herbs in there, some oregano, some thyme. That's going to give it more of an Italian type of flavour to it. That's going to go in there. You could add some herbs or some fresh herbs straight into the breadcrumbs. So something like adding parsley, chopped parsley into your breadcrumb. That could add some extra flavour to your meal as well. It also adds some extra colour to your fish finger. And that's it. We're going to just cook those 2 minutes on each side. So after 2 minutes, I'm going to just turn them onto the other side, and then I'm going to keep turning them. And after about 8 to 10 minutes, they'll get a nice golden brown colouring to it, and they'll be ready to serve. I'm just going to carry on with my other 4. Okay, cod can be really delicate if you're not careful with it. So very carefully, after 2 minutes, give it a turn. You'll see that it's already starting to brown onto one side as it is. So what we want to try and do is we want to try and turn it the minimum amount of times that we need to. You could also improve the healthier factor on this, because rather than using white bread like I've done, you could use any other sorts of bread. You could use a wholemeal or a 50-50 type bread if you want to increase the fibre base or lower the sugar on this bread that we're using. So I'm going to leave that there for another 2 minutes, and then I'll turn them over again. So while my fish is cooking, I'm going to start on my sauce that I'm going to use, my homemade tartar sauce. And we're going to use some flat leaf parsley, Greek yogurt, lemon, and a shallot, which I forgot to mention at the beginning. And I'm going to prepare all my my vegetables first. So all I need to do first of all is trim my shallot, top and bottom off, slice it down the centre. And I have cleaned and wiped this surface before I started doing this. There's no more fish juices on here. It's been cleaned and sanitised, because obviously if you're doing it in a commercial environment, you'd be using a blue chopping board for your fish and you'd be using a brown chopping board for your vegetables. But obviously I'm doing this at home and I don't have the different coloured chopping boards. So I'm just going to make sure that everything is thoroughly cleaned before I switch from my fish to my vegetables, which I have done. Now, the shallot wants to be finely sliced and diced. So I'm going to take some long slices down the shallot using that bridge method and claw method. I'm going to take a single slice down the centre, and then I'm going to finely dice that shallot up. And the last bit there. That's going to go straight into my bowl for my sauce. Same again. Then into my shallots, we're going to add some flat leaf parsley. So I'm going to get a good bunch of parsley out. Going to scrunch it all together and fold it. Claw method again. And finely dice and chop parsley. And add it to the shallot. Some zest to my sauce. We're going to use the juice of 1 whole lemon. And finally, for the base of the sauce, we're going to add in there some natural Greek yogurt. We're going to need 2 good tablespoons of that. And give that a good stir around and get all that mixed in. We'll come back to this in a minute. Okay, to serve them up, we're going to go for a fresh green salad, and I'm going to take some of my tartar sauce, going to coat the base of my sub roll. I'm going to place this on. 1 fish finger, freshly cooked, and just top that off with a couple of fresh gherkins. And you've got a homemade fish finger sandwich served with fresh salad.